guys, so we're going to make some homemade biscuits because we're making biscuits and gravy, and I'm doing mine a little bit different, okay? First of all, we're going to start off with cultured buttermilk, and you can get this in the baking aisle, and I tell you, if you don't use a lot of buttermilk for baking all the time, then this is great because it'll last forever in your refrigerator. So I need 4 tablespoons. I have 1 cup of hot water, and I measured it in the coffee cup, not a regular measure. It doesn't matter whether you're measuring it in a cup or you're measuring in a measuring cup, because as long as you have your amounts the same, it doesn't matter, trust me. So I did 1 cup full of hot water into the bowl, and I need 4 tablespoons of the buttermilk. And the great thing is you don't have to keep milk on hand because it uses water. That's 3, right? 1 more. And 1 more. And so I'm just going to let this dissolve in the water. I'm going to get my whisk and get that whisk together, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, right here you can see that I've got my buttermilk mixed up. And we are going to add zucchini. This came out of our garden. So we're going to shred up some zucchini to go in. You won't be able to really taste it, but of course it has lots of vitamins and minerals that you need. And it's a good way to sneak it in for your children if they won't eat veggies. Luckily, my children do. So I'm just going to grate up the zucchinis here, and I'll bring you right back to actually start putting our biscuits together. Alright guys, we have self-rising flour, and this just already has, it's like biscuit basically. It's got the baking powder and baking soda already in it. So we're going to use 3 cups, and I'm using the same measure that I used for the water. And I don't bother even to sift this. So 1, 2, and I'm going to have to open up another bag. So I'll get the 3rd cup in, and we'll bring you right back. Alright, so here is the 3rd cup of our biscuit, the flour for the biscuits. And now we are going to use Crisco, and I'm using the butter flavored Crisco. And you need about 1/2 cup. And about 1/2 cup. And then using your fingers, we're going to incorporate the Crisco with the butter. And you just want to do it like you would do a pie dough if you were doing a pie dough, which is to just make little pebbles with the dough. And the zucchini, by the way, being in here, zucchini has a lot of moisture also, and it'll make for a very moist and tender biscuit. So we just keep doing this, as you can see, and incorporate that Crisco and make it into little sand or pebbles, whichever one you want to consider it. So we're going to do this part, and we'll bring you back in a minute. We're going to add our buttermilk next, and then a little bit of salt. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, so here's our first part of our flour and butter and zucchini. And when you can do this and it stays together, that's how you know that you got it in the correct consistency. As you see, it crumbles. So, and as me and Steve just realized, I probably should have taken off my ring, but I didn't. So anyways, it's already dirty, so we won't worry about it, right? You're supposed to answer that one.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we're going to add our buttermilk, and you're just going to add about 1/2 of it at a time. You may need a little bit more buttermilk, or you may not need all of it. So that's why you just add it. It's easier to add more than it is to take it out, right? So I'm just going to mix this together until I get a dough formed, and we'll be right back. Guys, we almost forgot to add our salt, so you're going to add about 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, and I'm just going to work that into the dough. And I'm just going to turn this out real quick onto my work area here. Makes a lot of biscuits. You may want to half this, but you can freeze them, so that's why I'm making a lot, is that way when everyone's leaving in the morning, they can just pull the biscuits out of the freezer and pop them in the microwave and reheat them. You don't want to overwork your dough. That is a major problem with biscuits. You will make them very tough if you keep working it. So what I'm going to do is get my pan ready. I have a pan here, and instead of cutting this into rounds that normally that's what you would do, we're not going to do that. We're actually going to just put this in to our pan, which I need to spray. So we'll be right back. I need to get my vegetable spray. Alright guys, I changed my mind on the spray. I'm using just the Crisco. My hands are already dirty, so it doesn't matter at this point. So I'm going to grease this with the butter so that they won't stick. So I'm just going to get the Crisco everywhere. Crisco. Sorry guys, that was Stevie. Really, Stevie? Really? And as a side note to making these biscuits, guys, for anyone who's been with us for a while, Steve is changing jobs and he will be back in the house.
Local, yep.
Yep, we're going to be back here. So, anyways, just so y'all know, so he will be my cameraman a lot of times. Right. Although he refused to do the recipe, guys, so by the way.
This means I'm retiring now.
You're not retiring, child. You were always the best cameraman. So I'm just going to put enough biscuit dough in here, and I'm just getting it leveled out, or, you know, putting it in. And then what we're going to do, and because we don't want to have to roll the dough and make it tougher, we're just going to score this with a butter knife to make square biscuits. And I'm going to cook all this dough up. I'll just have to do 2 pans. Yes, child.
What does it mean to score?
It means exactly what I am finna show you, kiddo. Hang on. So now I'm just adding enough biscuits, and it's gonna rise, and they're gonna be bigger than they normally would be. Stevie, you want to see what I'm talking about when I talk about scoring?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. And we're just gonna score them so when we take them out of the pan, they'll come out in the design that we would like. So basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna score like this. And this will give cut lines. So we do it in half and do the one section in half and this section in half. And then turn your pan. Steve, don't get ahead of me. I don't know why I'm tempted to say child with your name.
Oh, I can see why.
Thanks, Stevie, yeah.
Hey, honesty, man, honesty. So we've scored our biscuits. Now we've preheated our oven to 425 degrees. We are going to put our biscuits in for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. It may only take 12. It may take 15, but we will let you know when we get back. Okay guys, here's our biscuits, and they're done. It did take about 15 minutes, and I'm just going to get one out, which would be easier if I have both hands, and I'm going to plate it up, and then we'll show it to you. Alright guys, here's our finished biscuits, and I just drizzled a little bit of butter on top of them. They are perfectly done. Like I said, the zucchini has so much, you know, vitamins and minerals that you need, and you can't taste zucchini. So it's a great way to add it to your kids' diet if they are picky eaters. And so we'll give this a try. Oh, it's kind of big. I can barely get a bite. Very moist. Sorry guys. This is a great recipe. I'll have it down below. Please give it a try. And please subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends and family. And I hope you enjoyed this recipe.